Picture this. You walk into a dimly lit apothecary in 17th century Europe. The air is thick with the scent of old herbs and exotic spices. But among the usual remedies, there's something shocking. Jars filled with mysterious brown powder labeled as medicine. The source? Ground-up Egyptian mummies. Yes, you heard that right. People actually ate mummies. But why? What twisted logic led the greatest minds of the time to believe that consuming ancient human remains was a cure-all? And how did this eerie practice become a luxury for the elite? And here's the real kicker. This wasn't a desperate act of survival or dark sorcery, it was fashionable. Doctors prescribed it, kings endorsed it, and society embraced it as a miracle cure. But as we uncover the truth behind this disturbing trend, one question lingers. Did it actually work? Stick around because what you're about to hear will make your skin crawl. History is full of bizarre medical beliefs, but few are as grotesque as the mummy-eating craze. This wasn't some hidden ritual. It was a mainstream practice embraced by doctors, kings, and ordinary people alike. Imagine sipping a fine glass of wine mixed with powdered remains of a 3,000-year-old pharaoh. Sounds insane, right? Yet for centuries this was considered cutting-edge medicine. But how did it all begin? And more importantly, what finally stopped it? The roots of mummy medicine stretch back to medieval Europe, when scholars misinterpreted an ancient Arabic practice. Arabic physicians had long used a natural substance called bitumen, which was known as mumia in Latin, for healing wounds and ailments. But when European scholars got hold of Arabic medical texts, they made a ghastly mistake. They assumed mumia referred to actual Egyptian mummies. This mix-up led to one of history's most shocking medical disasters, a full-scale trade in ground-up human remains. By the 16th and 17th centuries, mummy powder was all the rage. Imagine nobles and kings sprinkling human dust into their tea, believing it would cure headaches, epilepsy, and even the plague. King Francis I of France carried a pouch of mummy powder, consuming it regularly. The famous physician Paracelsus, who revolutionized medicine, was a firm believer in its power, and it didn't stop there. Some recipes mixed mummy powder with honey, chocolate, or wine for easier consumption. The darker the powder, the more potent people thought it was. The idea? The ancient had mysterious powers, and the older the mummy, the stronger the remedy. Some even believed that consuming the flesh of a great Egyptian ruler would transfer their power, wisdom, or even strength to the one who ingested it. Sounds like something straight out of a horror movie, doesn't it? But where were all these mummies coming from? Egypt's tombs became a hunting ground for European merchants. As demand skyrocketed, grave robbers and traders ransacked ancient burial sites, stealing countless mummies to grind into medicine. The trade was so out of control that when supplies started running low, fake mummies were made from freshly dead bodies. Sometimes even criminals and beggars were turned into ancient remedies. This wasn't just a dark secret of the medical world. Painters were also in on it. Ever heard of mummy brown? This rich brown pigment, made from actual human remains, was used in paintings for centuries. Some of the world's most famous artists unknowingly painted with pulverized pharaohs. Let that sink in. Imagine this. Some of history's greatest paintings could literally contain the remains of an Egyptian king. If those mummies could speak, what would they say? By the 18th century, scientific advancements began challenging mummy medicine. More and more doctors started realizing it was nothing more than a morbid placebo. By the 19th century, people finally woke up to the horrors of what they had been consuming. Egyptologists and archaeologists pushed back, demanding an end to the destruction of Egypt's heritage. Slowly but surely, the mummy trade crumbled, and this horrifying chapter in history came to a close. Looking back, it's easy to laugh at this grotesque medical mistake. But it also raises an unsettling question. What common practices today will future generations find horrifying? We might think we're more advanced, but history shows us that even the smartest minds can fall for bizarre trends. Maybe in 100 years, people will look back at some of our current medical treatments and say, what were they thinking? What do you think? Are we repeating similar mistakes today? Let's talk in the comments. Hit that like button if you love bizarre history, and don't forget to subscribe for more shocking stories from Histoveins.